Hello, seventh grade. What we're going to do now is do 3 of the problems that might be the trickiest ones, or what I think might be the trickiest ones on tomorrow's quiz. So let's look at those, and we'll look at them as they might appear in ALEKS. So let's go over to our, let's see here, go here to our special screen. Let's see if this is the right one. No, just a sec. Just a second. Give me a second. I will keep talking through this. Okay, so we're going to, we don't want to share that screen. What we want to do is we want to share a different screen, and the screen that we want to share is this one. Okay, sorry to have wasted your time, but now we're on the money. So we're gonna work 3 different kinds of problems, and so the ones that we're going to do is we're going to focus on these 3 types of problems. We have this one in the middle is distribution. This other one is distributing and then combining like terms. And this last one over here is what we call factoring a linear binomial. And pretty much factoring is the same thing as undoing distribution. So we're going to start by doing a distribution problem. Then we're going to do this factoring thing, which is undoing distribution. I will explain that. And then we're going to do this other process over here where we're going to do multiple operations. So I'm just going to move these 2 things over here to the side for a second. We'll come back to those. And we'll just start here with this distribution problem. And so what you notice here is that we have one number. I'm going to copy the problem first. Let me just copy this problem over. So we have the original problem, which is 2 minus 2y plus 3w, all of that times a negative 5. Now, what you see is we have these 3 terms inside of parentheses both being multiplied by 1 term. So this is indeed distribution, but this is going to be distribution with 3 terms inside the parentheses. And so so this is a little bit more difficult than our 1 times 2 terms. It's 1 thing times 3 terms. And also you normally will see this problem like this. You'll see the number that the single number in front. You'll normally see the single number in front, and you'll see your 2 or your 3 term expression second. But here we have the term second, but we know that this is okay to do it in either order because you can multiply in either order. So you can multiply this thing times this thing is the same thing as the second thing times the first thing. So let's just remember that, and I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, and then we're going to do our distribution. So the way we do our distribution is I like to circle the things inside, making sure we include our sign, and then on the outside we have our negative 5, and we draw our arrows to indicate the multiplication that's going to happen. And once we do that, it makes the problem a lot more easier. We see here that we have 3 multiplications to do. So let's do that first one. Negative 5 times a 2 is negative 10. Our second multiplication is negative 5 times a negative 2y. A negative times a negative is a positive. And then you get 2 times 5 is 10. Y, we have our y here because we have a variable. So here similarly we have a variable. So 3 times negative 5 times 3w times negative 5 is the same thing as positive 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. W. And we learned why 5 times 3w is 15w. because 5 times 3w is 5 3w's. So 5 3w's, remember, it's 3w plus 3w plus 3w plus 3w plus 3w. So there's your 15 w's. Just to remind you of how we do that multiplication, but is repeated addition, but we can just remember our rules here and say that our answer must be this. So these distribution problems are often just one-step problems. There's our answer. We're done. Now I want to look at this this second problem, which is kind of like undoing distribution. So what this does is it takes a term, a binomial, could be a 3 of these, but in this case it's just 2 things, and we want to make it look like this. We want to go backwards from an equation that has things added together and move back to one that looks like this. Like this. So we're going backwards, like in that direction. And the way you go backwards, the way I like to go backwards, there's a couple ways to do it, but I like to do it by drawing pictures. Makes it easy. I'll do it both ways. So we'll do it the picture way. So the way we do it with a picture is we say, well, 21 minus 7v. We can take both things and put them inside boxes. And we did this in class. Negative 7v. And on the outside, then we're going to have something times something minus something. So what we want to do here is we want to find the biggest number. What's the biggest number that can divide both pieces? Well, let's see. Well, that's a 7. A 7 is the biggest number that can divide into 21 and 7. So that would be our 7. Now we got to find out what times 7 is 21. We want to find out what goes here on this side of the box. So this thing times 7 has to equal 21. Well, that's a 3. Now we have to find a number that what goes here? What times 7 will give us our negative 7v? Well, it has to be a negative number. We know that. Well, negative 1 times 7 is 7, but we still have this v that we have to account for, so it'll be a v. So now negative v times 7 is negative 7v. So the way that you get your answer is you take this thing and you multiply it by this thing. So we get 7 times 3 minus v. And we'll box our answer. And we can check it. We can check it like this way. We can draw our arrows. And we say, well, 7 times 3 is 21. And 7 times minus v is 7v. And we get back to our original answer. So we've checked our work here. Check. We've checked our work. Oh my, yeah, 21. Okay, there's our 21. So, all right. So the other way you can do it is you can just look at this thing and you can do it without the picture. I like the picture because it makes it easier for me. But you could just say, well, what's the biggest thing that divides both of these? Well, that's a 7. So we'll say 7. And well, what times 7 is going to give me 21? Well, 3. 7 times 3. And then 7 times what will give me my negative 7v? Well, that's negative v. So we can go straight there. This is for the picture version. I kind of like that again. Okay. So let's look now at this. I think this is the other kind of hard question on the test. So I'm just going to erase all this. Let's just erase all this. And then we're going to go solve this last piece. You, of course, in the video can go back and forward and bring back what I just erased if you want to. So, well, let's just go ahead and erase this too. And let's move this one over. Whoops. Yikes, I can't move it underneath that other stuff for some reason. Okay. Oh, you know what I can do? I can do this. Let's go all the way back here in our let's do this. Yeah. So we're just going to delete this one, and then we're just going to work this problem here. Okay, good. So let's go forward. So what we have here, I'm going to copy it over. We're going to say we always copy our problems minus. We have a combine. We see that we're going to probably have some combining like terms to do, but we're also going to have to do some distribution. And the reason we know we have distribution is that we can look at these pieces like this. That looks like a distribution problem to me, and so does this one. And the reason we can do distribution, one, is because it tells us we have to use distribution. It tells us we can combine like terms. So we got to have those hints too. There we go. But the key here is that we cannot combine like terms that are inside parentheses. So, for example, we cannot combine this 3y with this y over here because this y is inside one parenthesis and this 3y is inside a different parenthesis. So we cannot do that. So let's do our distribution, and then we're going to see that helps us remove these parentheses. Now I'm going to, and then we'll be able to do our combining like terms. Let me do the other thing where we draw our circles around all of our pieces. And that makes our distribution a lot easier. So now we have just 4 multiplication problems. You see where all the arrows are. We're going to multiply 4 times 3y. And let me go back to our original problem color. So we're going to get 12y. 4 times negative 5 is minus 20. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. And then negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. If you don't know why, you can ask me. These are the basic building blocks of our combining like terms and distribution, our ability to multiply numbers times monomials. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my green, and we're gonna box our like terms. Our like terms here are the y variables with their coefficients, and then our negative 2y. I'm going to use gold, and we're going to circle or with brown, and circle our constants. And now we can combine our like terms. We can say, well, we have 12y and negative 2y, and 12 and a negative 2. Go forward 12, back 2, we have 10y. Now we have negative 20, and we have another negative 10. So here we have negative 30. And our answer then is 10y minus 30. So that's how we do those. Very good. So I just wanted to do a few more problems for you, and give you just another chance to kind of absorb the information. That's 7M3A, and that's the last of the work that we're going to be doing before we bust into 7M3B here in 2015. Last thing we're going to be doing. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Thank you once again. We will be seeing you in class.